Imagine waking up to a world where storms are stronger, deadlier, and more unpredictable than ever before. The United States has always been a battleground for extreme weather, but the differences between the storms of 2021 and those of 2025 are downright insane. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us bring you more in-depth content on the world's most shocking weather events. Now, let's get into it. In 2021, the US faced a relentless assault from hurricanes, snowstorms, and deadly tornado outbreaks. From Hurricane Ida, which devastated Louisiana and caused historic flooding in the Northeast, to the Texas winter storm, which left millions without power, nature showed no mercy. Now, fast forward to 2025. Recent storms have rewritten the record books, with hurricanes growing stronger than ever, winter storms hitting unexpected regions, and climate shifts altering traditional weather patterns. Meteorologists are stunned, policymakers are scrambling, and communities are facing challenges no one could have predicted just 4 years ago. So, what changed? What made 2025 storms so different, and in some cases, far worse than those of 2021? Are we witnessing the new normal of extreme weather, or is something else at play? In this deep dive, we'll compare the storms of 2021 versus 2025, looking at how their strength, impact, and frequency have evolved. We'll explore scientific explanations, real-life stories, and the staggering cost of these disasters. By the end, one thing will be clear: Mother Nature isn't just changing, she's accelerating. Let's begin. The year 2021 was a brutal one for storms in the United States. From hurricanes battering the Gulf Coast to winter storms crippling entire states, extreme weather left a path of destruction in its wake. Scientists pointed to climate change, La Niña conditions, and shifting weather patterns as major contributors to the chaos. Let's break down the most devastating storms of 2021. Hurricane Ida, the monster storm. One of the most catastrophic storms of 2021 was Hurricane Ida. Forming in the Atlantic in late August, Ida rapidly intensified over the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, slamming into Louisiana as a Category 4 hurricane with winds over 150 miles per hour. The storm surge submerged entire communities, leaving millions without power for weeks. But Ida's impact didn't stop there. As it moved inland, it merged with another weather system, triggering historic flooding in the Northeast. New York and New Jersey saw record-breaking rainfall, turning streets into rivers and causing dozens of deaths in unexpected urban flash floods. While Ida stole the headlines, 2021 saw 21 named storms, making it one of the most active hurricane seasons on record. Other notable storms included Hurricane Elsa, a rare July hurricane that struck Florida, causing power outages and flooding. Hurricane Nicholas, a slow-moving storm that dumped over a foot of rain in parts of Texas. And Tropical Storm Fred, which spawned dozens of tornadoes across the southeast, leaving widespread destruction. The frequency and intensity of these storms raised concerns about how much worse future hurricanes could become. Texas winter storm, a deadly freeze. While hurricanes dominated the summer, February 2021 delivered one of the most unprecedented winter storms in US history. A massive Arctic outbreak sent temperatures plummeting below zero across Texas, a state unprepared for such extreme cold. Power plants failed, leaving over 4.5 million people without electricity. Water pipes burst, leading to widespread shortages. Over 200 people died, many from hypothermia and carbon monoxide poisoning. This storm exposed massive flaws in Texas's power grid, sparking debates on energy infrastructure and preparedness for extreme cold. Other notable winter events include the Midwest blizzard. Heavy snowfall and hurricane-force winds paralyzed cities like Chicago and Minneapolis. Nor'easter, a powerful storm, dumped more than 2 feet of snow in the Northeast, causing travel chaos. The winter of 2021 proved that extreme cold events were just as devastating as hurricanes. Scientists debated whether climate change was causing harsher winters, with some pointing to a disrupted polar vortex as the culprit. If 2021 was a wake-up call for extreme weather, 2025 took things to a whole new level. The storms that battered the US this year were more frequent, powerful, and unpredictable than anything seen before. Climate experts warned that we were entering a new era of supercharged storms, fueled by rising ocean temperatures and shifting atmospheric patterns. From record-breaking hurricanes to winter storms hitting unexpected places, 2025 proved that the weather we once knew is changing fast. Hurricane Lucas, a historic monster. Hurricane Ida in 2021 was bad, but Hurricane Lucas in 2025 made history. This Category 5 beast exploded in strength over the Atlantic, fueled by ocean temperatures that were hotter than ever recorded. It slammed into Florida's Gulf Coast with winds reaching 175 miles per hour, making it one of the strongest landfalling hurricanes in US history. The destruction was catastrophic. Entire coastal towns were wiped off the map by a storm surge of over 20 feet. Power grids collapsed, leaving millions in the dark for weeks. The storm's remnants triggered massive flooding as far inland as Tennessee and Kentucky. Lucas was a terrifying sign of how rapidly hurricanes were intensifying. Scientists warned that storms like this, once considered once-in-a-century events, might now happen every few years. The 2025 hurricane season was relentless, with 28 named storms, making it one of the most active on record. Some of the worst included Hurricane Max, a slow-moving storm that dumped 40 inches of rain in Texas, causing historic flooding. Hurricane Ophelia, a rare Category 4 storm in the northeast, bringing hurricane-force winds to Boston and New York City. Tropical Storm Quinn, formed in the Gulf and rapidly intensified, catching meteorologists off guard and flooding Louisiana. 2025's hurricanes weren't just more frequent, they were stronger and forming in unexpected places. The January 2025 snowstorm. Winter hits the South hard. While hurricanes dominated the summer, January 2025 delivered a shocking winter storm, but not where you'd expect. Instead of the usual northeast or midwest blizzards, this historic snowstorm slammed the deep south, blanketing Texas, Louisiana, and even parts of Florida in record-breaking snow and ice. Temperatures in Houston hit 5 degrees Fahrenheit, colder than some places in Alaska. Atlanta was buried under 10 inches of snow, shutting down the city for days. The storm triggered rolling blackouts, leaving millions without power in states unequipped for extreme cold. This event left experts scrambling for answers. Was this another sign that climate change was disrupting traditional weather patterns? Some suggested that the warming Arctic was pushing cold air farther south, creating erratic winter storms in places that had never seen them before. Other notable winter events include the blizzard of March 2025. A nor'easter pounded the northeast, with Boston and New York seeing over 3 feet of snow. The Great Plains Arctic blast of February 2025. A prolonged deep freeze brought temperatures of -30 degrees Fahrenheit to North Dakota and Montana. As winter storms became more unpredictable and widespread, the nation faced a new challenge, preparing for disasters where they weren't expected. The storms of 2021 were destructive, deadly, and historic, but the storms of 2025 rewrote the record books. Comparing these two side by side reveals shocking differences, from the sheer power of hurricanes to winter storms striking unexpected regions. What changed? Why did storms become so much more extreme in just 4 years? Let's break it down. In 2021, the Atlantic hurricane season produced 21 named storms, making it the third most active season on record at the time. But 2025 shattered expectations, with 28 named storms, including several Category 5 monsters like Hurricane Lucas. Hurricane intensity skyrocketed in 2025, with more rapid intensification events than ever before. Ocean temperatures in the Gulf and the Atlantic were warmer than 2021, fueling stronger and longer-lasting storms. Scientists warned that they were witnessing a dangerous new trend, hurricanes intensifying just before landfall, making them harder to predict and prepare for. Winter storms also became more erratic. While 2021's Texas freeze was shocking, 2025's Deep South snowstorm brought blizzard conditions to states that rarely see snow. These shifts suggested that the jet stream was behaving more unpredictably, creating unusual storm patterns. One of the most alarming changes between 2021 and 2025 was where storms hit. In 21, hurricanes primarily struck the Gulf Coast and East Coast, with Ida causing devastation in Louisiana and flooding in the Northeast. By 25, hurricanes were forming further north, with major storms hitting Boston and even parts of Canada. Winter storms followed a similar trend. 21's most devastating freeze was centered in Texas and the Midwest. In 25, the Deep South and even Florida saw historic snowfall, proving that winter storms were becoming more unpredictable. Meteorologists pointed to shifts in ocean currents and jet stream movements as possible reasons for these geographical anomalies. The cost of storm damage skyrocketed between 21 and 25. In 21, the total damages from hurricanes and winter storms were estimated at $145 billion. By 25, that number exploded past $200 billion, making it one of the costliest weather years in US history. Hurricane Lucas alone caused $80 billion in damages, wiping out entire towns in Florida. The Deep South winter storm crippled businesses and led to mass power outages, causing billions in infrastructure damage. Beyond economics, the human toll was devastating. More fatalities occurred in 25 than in 21, as storms became more sudden and severe. Mass evacuations became more frequent as stronger hurricanes forced millions to flee their homes. Insurance rates soared, with some regions becoming completely uninsurable due to repeated storm disasters. The dramatic shift in storm activity between 2021 and 2025 wasn't just a coincidence. Scientists pointed to climate change, ocean temperatures, and advancements in meteorology as key factors in why storms became more extreme, frequent, and unpredictable. Let's break down what changed and why. Climate change has been a driving force behind the increase in storm intensity, and by 2025 its effects became impossible to ignore. In 2021, ocean temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic were above average, fueling strong storms like Hurricane Ida. By 2025, those temperatures had risen even higher, with some regions reaching record-breaking warmth. Hurricanes feed off warm water, meaning storms in 2025 had more energy to rapidly intensify, often just before landfall. Scientists believe climate change weakened the polar vortex, leading to more unstable and unpredictable winter storms. This explains why the 2025 Deep South snowstorm brought blizzards to states that rarely see snow. The bottom line? Warmer oceans make hurricanes stronger, while atmospheric disruptions make winter storms more erratic. While storms became more extreme, advancements in forecasting allowed meteorologists to track them more accurately. But there was a catch. In 2021, storms like Hurricane Ida intensified rapidly, but forecasters still had time to warn people. By 2025, hurricanes like Lucas were strengthening hours before landfall, making last-minute evacuations chaotic. Meteorologists in 2025 had more powerful AI-driven models, allowing for better long-term forecasts. However, short-term storm behavior became harder to predict, especially as climate patterns became more chaotic. These advancements saved lives, but they also exposed a terrifying new reality. Storms were evolving faster than our ability to prepare. To truly understand how 2025 storms were far more extreme than those of 21, let's take a side-by-side look at two devastating storms, Hurricane Ida and Hurricane Lucas, and the Texas winter storm versus the January 2025 southern US snowstorm. These events highlight just how much storms evolved in just 4 years. Hurricane Ida, a deadly flooding event. Hurricane Ida made landfall in Louisiana as a Category 4 storm with winds of 150 miles per hour. The storm's biggest impact came after landfall when it moved inland and caused catastrophic flooding in the Northeast. New York and New Jersey saw record-breaking rainfall, leading to subway shutdowns and submerged streets. Power outages in Louisiana lasted weeks, leaving millions without electricity in extreme heat. Damage totaled $75 billion, making it one of the costliest storms in US history. Hurricane Lucas, a Category 5 nightmare. In 2025, Hurricane Lucas hit Florida's Gulf Coast with 175 miles per hour winds, making it one of the strongest landfalls ever recorded in the US. Unlike Ida, Lucas didn't just cause flooding, it wiped out entire towns with a 20-foot storm surge. Thousands of homes were swept away, leaving communities unrecognizable. Power grids collapsed, leaving millions without power for over a month. Lucas became an $80 billion disaster, surpassing Ida in cost and destruction. While Ida's impact was severe, Lucas was a full-scale climate catastrophe, showcasing the new reality of supercharged hurricanes. Texas winter storm, a power grid disaster. In February 2021, an unprecedented Arctic blast froze Texas, sending temperatures below zero and overwhelming the state's power grid. Over 4.5 million people lost power, leading to hundreds of deaths from hypothermia and carbon monoxide poisoning. Water pipes burst across the state, leaving millions without clean drinking water. Texas's energy infrastructure was completely unprepared for the extreme cold. The 2025 winter storm was even more shocking because it brought blizzard conditions to states that rarely see snow. Houston saw 5 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures, while Atlanta got 10 inches of snow. Northern Florida experienced its first major snowstorm in decades, shutting down highways and causing massive power outages. States like Louisiana and Mississippi, unprepared for such conditions, struggled with collapsed roads, frozen water lines, and stranded drivers. Unlike the Texas freeze of 2021, this storm spread over a much larger area, impacting more states and millions more people. The storm differences between 21 and 25 were more than just statistics, they were warning signs of what's coming. With hurricanes growing stronger and winter storms hitting unexpected places, the US had to adapt quickly to prevent future disasters. Here are the key lessons learned and the steps being taken to prepare for even more extreme weather. Government at the local, state, and federal levels were forced to take action after the devastation of 2025. The federal government expanded disaster relief funding and increased hurricane evacuation support. Some states strengthened building codes, requiring storm-resistant homes and businesses in hurricane-prone areas. Texas and other southern states winterized power grids to avoid a repeat of past failures. While these policies were a step forward, many experts argued that the response was still too slow compared to the rapidly changing climate. Extreme storms exposed major weaknesses in US infrastructure, leading to new upgrades. Power grids were reinforced, especially in hurricane and winter storm zones. Flood barriers and drainage systems were built in major cities to handle extreme rainfall. Coastal towns invested in storm surge protection, learning from Florida's Hurricane Lucas disaster. These upgrades helped, but some regions remained vulnerable, especially with storms becoming stronger than past designs could handle. Communities also took matters into their own hands to boost preparedness. Cities launched storm readiness programs, teaching people how to evacuate or shelter safely. More residents invested in backup generators, solar power, and storm-proof housing. Social media became a critical tool for real-time storm updates and emergency coordination. While 2025 storms were devastating, these lessons saved lives and helped prepare for what might come next. The differences between 2021 and 2025 storms weren't just shocking, they were a sign of what's to come. Hurricanes became stronger and more unpredictable, while winter storms hit regions that never expected them. The past 4 years proved that climate change is accelerating extreme weather, and the US must continue adapting before even more devastating storms arrive. If you found this deep dive informative, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on the wildest weather events happening right now. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.